All right, well, obviously this is a bit unconventional, but I think that really just emphasizes the importance of why we are here and why you're all there. And we'd like to thank you for all of being a part of what we think is a historic day as this continues to move forward towards December 3rd. And since I'm usually the one who intros them, even though I'm the reporter from 8 feet away, I'm doing it here. But I'm going to step out of the way now, and I'm going to hand over to our athletic director at Arizona Western College, Mr. Jerry Smith.
Thanks, Jim. This is an exciting day, Arizona Western College football. First, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our coaches, especially Coach Minnick and the rest of the coaching staff and the Arizona Western College football team for the outstanding season that they've had in 2011. Obviously, this is a day that culminates 18 months of activities with a partnership between the college, between the Matador Athletic Association, and a group of outstanding men in the Caballeros de Guima. I certainly would like to extend my appreciation to the Bowl Committee, and certainly to Dave McDowell as the chair from the Caballeros. Certainly, as we begin to talk 18 months ago about the possibility of what might happen today, is certainly an exciting time as we've seen this event come to fruition and what we thought might be a possibility as we begin the early information sharing between the Caballeros, between Arizona Western College and the Matador Athletic Association. I'm pleased to announce to you today that the #1 Arizona Western College Matadors has extended an invitation to the East Mississippi Community College Lions, and they have accepted to participate in the National Championship Junior College Football game on December the 3rd at 2:30 p.m. at Veterans Memorial Stadium in Yuma, Arizona. And it's an exciting time for the athletic department, for the college, and I'm sure for the Caballeros.
Tom Minnick, our AWC head football coach, is just about to go into the WSFL postseason coaches meetings where they'll begin the postseason honors and All-American selections. So I wanted to have Tom be able to have a chance to speak before he goes into the meeting. So how about a hand for AWC head football coach Tom Minnick.
I just want to say thanks. It's an honor to be at this point in the season and have a chance to play for the national championship. You win games with support around the community, support from the administration, with great football coaches, assistant football coaches, and great football players. And it takes a collective effort to get it done. And then, like I said, it's a community and a college-wide event that is going to be very special, and I'm very proud to be a part of this.
I want to try and throw it down to you guys at the front table, and we should start with the guy who has kind of helped oversee everything and make sure that all of the administration was in line and going forward, and that everybody was on a collective plane with this. I'd like to introduce AWC President Dr. Glenn Maley.
Thank you, Jim, Jerry, Tom. It's a real pleasure for the college to have this opportunity. If you look at the national standings and you look at the top 20, you're always talking about how competitive your region is. If you look at our region, we've got 3 in the top 20. A real tribute to Tom and the team, a great job that they've done. Also recognizing in 2009, AWC played the same team and ended up on the losing end. So this year we're hoping to return the favor. Tom, I want to congratulate you and the students. Couldn't be more proud. I've just got to tell you, it's just a treat for me personally because I was here in '72 when we won the national championship. So I don't want to put any pressure on you, but it's a glorious day. Thank you.
I didn't really expect to be introducing everybody from here, but I'm going to continue doing it. And Tom is going to have to go back to the WSFL coaches meeting. So Tom, thank you so much, and congratulations on a great honor.
Thank you.
This has been a great partnership over the past 18 months, and it's been so much hard work from a lot of dedicated individuals. And at the top of the list, along with Jerry, is the guy who has been the bowl committee co-chairman, along with Jerry, for the Caballeros de Yuma. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dave McDowell.
Well, this is truly a wonderful day for all of us. 18 months ago, when we started the planning for this event, we knew at that point that this could turn into a national championship, and all the planning that we've done has gone into that thought. And with the expertise and the guidance that we've received from Jerry and his staff and from Arizona Western College, we've been able to prepare for an event with the possibility of a title being at stake. And so it's not going to take a whole lot for us just to tweak a few things and be ready for that. We're extremely excited to have Arizona Western College, the #1 team in the nation, and the Eastern Mississippi Lions, the #2 team in the nation, competing for the national title in the first El Toro Bowl since 1973. I'd like to thank 73. I already checked. All right. So. I'd like to thank Dennis Booth, the president of the Matador Athletic Association, Jonathan Lyons, who's been our vice chairman, also a few other people in the room here, Jay Laughlin, Nate Shug, Cindy, let me think who else, John Giesler, Brian Doak, those folks who have been on the planning committee from the onset. Thank you for all your work. We are absolutely thrilled. This has been kind of a nervous weekend for us, and we needed to make sure that Tom's guys did the job that they did at Mason. We're awfully proud of that. We're really proud of the fact that this team's #1. That hasn't happened in a long time, and we feel real good about the kind of event that we're going to be able to present. We believe Eastern Mississippi and AWC are going to put on just a dynamic football game, and the true national champion is going to be crowned there. So we're excited. I hope Yuma takes note of this is history in the making. This is the first time we've had a championship bowl game here in since 1973, and we are just thrilled to be able to stand in front of you today and let you know about that. So thank you all, and hope to see you all at the El Toro Bowl.
Next person I want to introduce has to have a very large head for the amount of hats that he has had to wear over the last 18 months to be able to make so many parts of this equation work, because he has been a stout member of the Matador Athletic Association for years and a devotee of Matador Athletics. He took over as the El Toro Foundation board president a couple of years ago. And of course, he is a proud member of the Caballeros de Yuma, and recently, now he's a district governing board member. Will you welcome, please, Mr. Dennis Booth?
Thanks for coming out, everyone. This is a very exciting time, and I can honestly say that the community as a whole has embraced us with what we're doing here more than any other event I've ever been part of. The reflection of the strength of what we have here is the fact that those of us who went to Mesa last weekend to make sure we were okay, and we won that last game, right? At times we were nervous, but they did a great job as the game went on. We were nearly as many in number as they had across the field in the stands representing the Mesa crowd. That is the kind of support this community has for the program here at Arizona Western College. I'd like to thank those who are here from the Matador Athletic Association board. We have Jay and we have Retta. Thank you for being here. The level of sponsorship interest has been phenomenal in this board game, in this bowl game, simply because everybody's pumped up and we can win it. And all I can say is, let's celebrate the next few weeks, make the most of it, and be proud that we've come this far, and let's put it away with a big win. Thank you.
As we mentioned, the people that are in front of you, whether it's here or in front on the table in front of you, have been absolutely tireless in the amount of dedication that they have put forward to be able to make this day come to fruition. And the guy who just stepped in, which is very hard for him to quietly step into any room, but he did it very gracefully as I saw him sneak into the picture. This is a guy who, ever since he took over as El Presidente from Nate Shug, who I saw in the audience, and hats off to Nate Shug also for being able to really get the ball rolling on this. But ever since he took over as El Presidente, he has been at just about every single meeting that he could possibly attend, and he has certainly been able to put his best foot forward to help make this a success. Will you welcome, please, the El Presidente of the Caballeros de Yuma, Mr. Terry Friedland.
This is the classic being unprepared to make a statement. As Jim said, I took over for Nate. I give all the credit to Dave McDowell, Jonathan, Nate for having got this thing started. It'll be a wonderful project for the city of Yuma. I'm most excited about the educational opportunities that the money that's raised from this event offer back to the students that'll be attending AWC. It is a football game, and obviously I'm a football guy, but this is going to do so much good for the community, and I don't want to forget that. I'd like to keep some attention focused on that. So I applaud everybody for all their hard effort. A lot of work's gone into this. Dave, you've done an outstanding job. So we're looking forward to a fantastic event. We hope that we get all the community out to support. So we look forward to seeing you there, and go AWC Matadors.
Last but not least, I want to introduce the tannest person in the room. This is a guy who, ever since the discussion began back in May, and he and Dave first showed up at our first of 327 bowl committee meetings, he has been tireless in trying to get things coordinated and be able to get a lot of the events that maybe don't necessarily involve the 11-on-11 guys that will take the field at 2:30 on Saturday, December 3rd. But he has also been responsible for coordinating a lot of the events that are going to lead off El Toro Bowl week. Will you welcome, please, the Vice Chairman of the El Toro Bowl for the Caballeros de Yuma, Mr. Jonathan Lyons.
It's a pleasure to be here, and we're excited to be here at this point in time. We appreciate all of our community sponsors, and I wanted to recognize them right now. Time Warner Cable first stepped up when they heard about this opportunity and took the lead. And then shortly after that, our partners at Walmart and Sam's Club, we want to acknowledge them. Thank you very much for stepping up and supporting us in this endeavor, and supporting the community and supporting athletics as well as education. Alexander Auto Center and Holiday Inn. We have a lot of great activities that are going to lead up to and culminate with a football game, but we want to recognize the 1973 national champions. We want to recognize those people for the fine work that they did back then, and as they are inducted into the National Junior College Athletic Association Hall of Fame. That's a mouthful in itself. And we will also induct a few other people into that Hall of Fame at that time. We have a great coaches banquet to recognize the coaches for getting their players here this far, as well as opportunities for the visitors to come and grasp a little bit of what Yuma is. And we appreciate everybody in the community that stepped up to partner with us in this endeavor so that we can present Yuma to the rest of the world. Thank you very much.
This would be the time that any of you media folks, and we sure appreciate you guys, you guys and or ladies and gentlemen coming out to cover this. If you have any questions, this would be the time to fire away. We ask that you use the podium that is right in the middle of the seats, so that way if you have questions for Jerry, that he will also be able to see who is talking. So if you've got any questions, fire away.
Davis.
Eddie, go ahead and step to the podium.
Okay. That podium?
No, you're fine right there.
Okay. This was for Dave. You mentioned something about tweaks that are going to happen because this is a national championship game as opposed to just a regular game. What are those tweaks? What's going to be different?
Just some things that the National Junior College Athletic Association requires of a championship game. That's ensuring we use the right kind of football, that a certain number of rooms are available for the teams coming in, just some things like that. So everything is relatively minor that we have to adjust to. Again, because of Jerry's expertise in dealing with these things and the folks that we've had on our committee who've been involved in these kind of things before, we were able to plan an event that pretty much is a turnkey operation for making the national championship. So we feel real good about where we're at right now.
Any other questions?
Matt's coming up.
I see him approaching.
This question, I guess, is for anybody at the table. You know, I know it's not an exclusively Matador Bowl game. It was a, you know, it could have been any two teams, but how important was it that it was the Matadors the first time around, especially with everything that's being invested and all the time and effort that's been put into this? How important was it to have AWC here?
I would say financially and support-wise, it's horribly important. The prospect of potentially being number 2 and even considering leaving would have left a significant impact on the outcome of our attendance and the excitement around the bowl. So AWC being the major driver is critically important. So can I say more? There would be much less attendance and much less resources to give back to scholarships had we not been having the AWC in the bowl. Thank you.
Was there any consideration to go elsewhere? I mean, when you guys hit the #1 spot, I mean, was it? I mean, when you were sitting at #2, it was a little shaky there for a while. But when you guys hit the #1 spot,
I can assure you that probably Jerry could answer better, or Dr. Maley, but I can guarantee you, once we were 1, they weren't leaving. Dr. Maley.
It's an interesting comment and a lot of speculation, but some of the conferences require that if you win your conference, you must play in their local bowl game. And unless you're playing for a national championship, then they'll release you. So when we first started out with the conversation, of course, you've got to have 6 wins to be in the bowl game. That didn't put any pressure on Tom because he breezed right through that. But when we were number 2 to Blinn, there was some real concern because in that conference there is an obligation that you play in the local bowl. They could have gotten released, but if they're number 1, they're not coming here. We would have to go there to play for a national bowl. So the fact that Tyler beat Blinn helped a great deal, and obviously beating Snow and Mesa cinched the deal. Thank you.
And final question, I guess this is for Jerry. You know, was it difficult to convince East Mississippi to come out here when, you know, it's a national championship game, but it's a home game for you guys?
Yeah, I don't think so, Matt. We've been in consultation with them now for about a day and a half, with the president, Dr. Young, with their athletic director, Mickey Stokes, and their head football coach, Betty Stevens. Obviously, I actually contacted them early on Sunday morning after we defeated Mesa on Saturday night. Mickey said they had talked. They're very interested in being a part of the national championship game. They had to get final confirmation from the president that financial assistance would be available for the trip. Obviously, we made the same trip 2 years ago, so we had a pretty good idea what it was going to cost. So I had several conversations with their athletic director in terms of cost, of what it might take for them to make the trip to Yuma. We assured them that it's going to be an extremely successful bowl, that we're going to that our goal with the Caballeros from the very beginning was that the team that comes to Yuma to participate in the El Toro Bowl, even if it weren't the national championship game, would be an experience that they could go back home and say, we'd like to take that trip again. And I think Caballeros have put that effort forward in the hard work that's been accomplished, and the sponsorships, Time Warner Cable obviously stepping up as a major sponsor, Walmart and Sam's Club, and then Alexander Auto and the Holiday Inn, has made it possible for us to make it very attractive for other teams to come into Yuma. I was just in a conversation earlier today with Gina Gonzalez at the Holiday Inn. East Mississippi was wondering how many rooms that they could get. They plan to bring their band, and they plan to bring a large entourage of fans. So they're wanting to know how many rooms are going to be available for them in Yuma. So we're looking at the Innkeepers Association, who's the sponsor of the game, to see how many rooms will be available that they can rent. And that's what it was all about from the very beginning, in terms of us working in the community and providing opportunities for Yuma to be highlighted in the bowl game.
Jerry, I just want to follow up with some of the stuff Matt was asking about. Had there been much serious conversation with Minnick to what would have happened if you guys, let's say Tyler didn't beat Blinn and you guys were still stuck at number 2? Had there been serious conversations?
We did have serious conversations, and also had conversations with the Caballeros, conversations with Dr. Maley about the possibility. You know, we knew it was going to be an extremely difficult struggle for us to leave with the amount of work that's been put into this bowl game, not only by the Caballeros, but by personnel at Arizona Western College. You know, the staff, the coaches, and then, you know, the sponsors that we've gone out and solicited support from. So it would have been a difficult decision, but glad we weren't faced with it, but we did discuss it. I'm not sure what we would have done if it would come down to that, but just glad it didn't.
East Mississippi, now they're not nearly as close to the bowl site in Biloxi, correct? Am I
No,
wrong?
they're not. They're a couple hours away. They're in Scuba, Mississippi. You know, they're very young in bowl experience. They went to their first bowl game 2 years ago when we faced them at the Mississippi Bowl in Biloxi. And but they've built a strong program there. Their coach Buddy Stevens, and they're well respected among the two-year college football programs in the country.
Okay, that was all for you, Jerry. But I was going to ask, I guess this would be for Jonathan, or I guess Jonathan. What's the? I know there was talks about having like a punt, pass, and kick. Although I know you can't call it a punt, pass, and kick, but that sort of thing. And I know there's going to be something with the local high school bands. I was wondering how those were coming along. And does East Mississippi bringing their band change that at all?
Thursday afternoon, we're going to have a meeting so that we can plan the final stages of how we're going to put and fill every minute for every second at the game. Sorry, a little bit frustrated. 2 minutes before I walked in here, I got an email from the high school coaches wondering what had been done, and I responded back that as to this point in time, they hadn't been really receptive, but Lucky Arviso is trying to put that together right now. Amanda Delabetta at Yuma High School has been fantastic in putting together a great selection of high school football team or high school band that's going to participate in the beginning and in the halftime, and then we'll just have to finalize how we're going to work into the schedule, the visiting band. But we still want to put something together. We had anticipated having some of those high school players come out and demonstrate some of their talents, and I believe that there's still an interest there, and we'll sit down and we'll talk about it now. Did I get an email back, Allison? Okay.
Are there any other events along those lines other than the advertised ones that are up on the site and those couple you just mentioned?
We'll let you know after Thursday. How's that?
We have contacted a lot of people, and a lot of people have contacted us as far as wanting to participate now that AWC is assuredly playing in this game. So it's going to be fun as we finalize the last few weeks.
There'll be major advertising.
Jonathan, why don't you talk about some of the pregame stuff leading up right up to the kickoff with Time Warner events and with the MCAS and YPG?
Time Warner, well, first of all,
Hold off on YPG.
Okay. Holding off on YPG. We have a flyover of Harriers that's going to kick the game off. Time Warner, during the halftime show, is going to attempt to give away $250,000 in a contest. One winner will be selected to come down on the field and participate in an athletic challenge, which is not a difficult challenge, but they have put $250,000 on the line for that event. And to be announced. Come on, we gotta play into this a little bit more. We're just ramping up. I mean, you know, getting the emotion up there. It is a football, yes. A football will be involved. And we appreciate our local military support in this endeavor as well. They have been fantastic. That's been a little bit of a struggle, but through our local contacts with the Harrier Squadron, Colonel Goff, he took it up the chain of command all the way to the top command and got it approved, and we appreciate that. And we're anticipating an announcement from YPG very soon as far as their participation in the game as well.
One of the great things too about the Time Warner Cable promotion that's going on at halftime is they've been trying to find ways that will drive, as we've been putting it, butts in seats. And when the gates open at noon, people are going to have a chance to be able to sign up at the Time Warner Cable tent to be a part of it. And so therefore, it's going to be chosen from the crowd in the audience. So it's a great way to do it. That's one of the ways that they have been able to get involved. And for that matter, we talked about Nate Sugar earlier. Ever since he stopped being El Presidente, he's gotten in charge of merchandise sales. And luckily, he's been able to pair up with the good folks at Walmart and Sam's Club in the Yuma area to be able to offer selling merchandise every weekend during the month of November.
Just kind of wanted to address the field layout and our approach to this game. We wanted to involve everybody in this community. We wanted it to be a community event. When you look at the bowl game and the layout, you'll have representations from military, from our local high schools. You'll have some balloons out there. You'll have some classic cars out there. You'll have representation from almost every industry that we have here that comprises Yuma and makes it our home. And that was our intent from the beginning, to include everybody that we possibly could and make them part of this bowl experience. We prayed from the beginning that it would be AWC because we wanted to be able to showcase Yuma as a whole to the nation and to anybody that was watching. Anything else? We're just excited to have everybody here.
I'm going to ask Jim, I hope you don't mind. This is Ruth Castillo, KSWT News 13. And I am asking this question because I got to stand by my camera because I'm filming too.
Oh.
Okay. So I have a question. One, that $250,000 that Time Warner's giving away, is it one lump sum, or we're not going to find out till later?
That is, we're burying the lead. You will have to find that out as we go along.
Okay. And my other question is, how much do you anticipate the community can generate as far as money, as far for this community?
That's more of a question for you or David.
Yeah. You know, it's hard to say. It's driven by several things. It's driven by sponsorships, by attendance, and what goes on at the game. I don't know that we have any set predetermined level that we're trying to achieve. I want to go back to what Terry Friedland said. Our emphasis on this game is making it a community event and enforcing the educational opportunities for students in this community. A lot of things are going to happen that are hopefully contribute to improving the athletic program, but a lot of what we do will be to contribute money towards scholarships that will be available for educational opportunities for kids coming to school out here. And that really should be the theme of this entire thing. It's great we're having a bowl game. We're great to put Yuma on display, but this institution is about education, and everything that we do, we want to support that. So I can't give you an answer. I probably won't even give you an answer after the fact. But whatever we can do, you know, to enhance that those educational efforts and scholarships out here, we'll do that.
I'll only add this: being a banker, we're interested in what economic impact the event might have for the community. What's the estimated attendance? Minimum 5?
We're hoping around 5,500.
So 5,500 seats if we fill the stands, and the way things look right now, getting the stands full appears to be a foregone conclusion. Not all of those people watching that game, not all of that 5,500 are going to be local citizens. So we're bringing people from outside the community into the community. As Jonathan said, we're trying to showcase Yuma, but that's hotel stays, restaurant meals, shopping at the mall. The economic impact of this is going to be significant, and even those that reside in Yuma, because it's a multi-day event, restaurant meals, shopping, etc. So I think you're going to see a significant impact, not only for the students that'll be receiving the scholarships, but for local merchants and folks in the community, and that was the second focus we had, trying to showcase the community. So
Just one more question here. So
I do not know.
No. You didn't know this. So you've been working with other businesses to get incentives out there so the public can, generate that buzz, generate that interest.
The answer to that question is yes. Our list of sponsorship is extensive. Jonathan only read off the major sponsors, but we've got participation from many, many businesses in the community. All of them see the potential positive financial impact of that traffic flowing through. So
50 different businesses are involved.
50.
And I think the important word that Terry used is participation, because they're not just participating by putting money towards the cause, but just about every single one of them has been trying to find ways to get involved to be able to help showcase this, not just on a local or regional, but national scale.
I had a quick question. I almost forgot. There was one of the editors of the paper said that the game might be televised or something like that, like not just on AWC TV, but somewhere else.
Right now, the great thing about it is Time Warner Cable is going to be the official broadcasting site television-wise on Time Warner Cable Channel 74. There's also discussions that they're going to show it on a couple of other of their channels. Not to mention, we're also going to video stream it like we did the last half of our Matador football schedule, but it is also going to be broadcast on NJCAA TV on the NJCAA website, so that way it is on a national hub. And of course, it's also going to be broadcast on the radio on Sports Radio 560 KBLU, just like it has been for other Matador Sports Network broadcasts.
Okay.
Any other questions? Russ, you've been sitting there like a bump on a log for half an hour. You can ask a question if you want to.
I get all these guys on the radio tomorrow.
That's good. You should trump that. You should go ahead and trump that. All right, for those of you who want to get one-on-ones with the people at the front podium, this is the perfect time to do it now. I definitely want to thank a beautiful lady named Allison Howell who helped coordinate this from afar, as well as Cindy Evans. Thank you both very much for doing that, because I believe this is the first press conference I've ever done from 2.5 hours away. We'd like to thank you all very much for being a part of this. And just remember, December 3rd is history. Thank you all for coming.